I knew 100% that I didn't want to work with clients. Part of my personality is I don't want a boss. I don't want anyone to have to tell me what to do. So I was like, okay, well, what if I find someone, instead of me becoming like a super crazy expert in SEO, what if I found someone that's really good at SEO and they're just like a freelancer and I just go find them clients? The issue that I have with AI is most people are using ChatGPT and Google has their own AI. So my theory is that once AI is actually like prevalent and more advanced, Google is going to maybe start banning people that aren't using their AI on Google.
In this episode of the Bad Marketing Podcast, I have one of my business partners, Zach Schubert, actually runs an e-com SEO agency out of Los Angeles. Really cool. We actually are business partners on the agency domain, which is one of the biggest communities in the world for agency owners to connect online. And we dive into not only his journey of becoming an agency owner, how it kind of came to fruition, why he's doing so, what his next goals are, and also kind of how SEO works in the e-commerce world as a whole, right? So a couple tips and tricks to be able to advance yourself on the SEO side when it comes to finding your business organically online and not having to use ad spend to be able to generate business. So if you're in the e-commerce world or if you're in the agency world, this is a must listen to episode. Short, concise, to the point, and hope you get some value out of it. Got a special episode today here with my man, Zach Schubert.
What's up, big dog?
What's up, baby? How you doing, man? Welcome.
Thank you.
Funny story, actually. We're actually business partners. I don't know how many people know that, but we run an agency domain together. It's a Discord community for agency owners from all around the world. So blessed to have you here in person. Just had the agency founders event. And for those of you that don't know, Zach is like our go-to SEO agency when it comes in the e-com space. We have shared clients together. We do ads, they do SEO, et cetera. So I really wanted him to get on the podcast today and, give us a background of how you got into the agency space. I know you're leading hundreds, actually thousands of agency owners right now online. We're giving them advice all the time. We're coaching them up. It's cool to see them progress, cool to see the things that we're trying to do in this space. But on the other hand, you're also driving great results on the SEO side for your clients. And I'd love to take some takeaways from both sides. So maybe give us like a background of like how you got into the agency space, a little bit about yourself, kind of just take the show here for a bit and kind of talk and give us a quick little background.
Yeah, that's kind of a longer story. I think it's kind of funny that we're on this podcast and like the first time that we meet is at your event. Like
crazy, right?
This is like our third day and then all of a sudden we're on a podcast and stuff, but we've been in business for 5 months now, something like that.
Yeah, August. So it's been a while.
Yeah, that's funny. But yeah, I got a late start. So I'm a late bloomer. I started when I was around 27. I'm 30 now. Into the whole, I was a freelancer, a glorified freelancer back at the very, very beginning. But my background's actually in like nonprofits. I have kind of a rocky road during high school. Didn't really pay attention. Knew that I didn't really like to listen to authority and stuff. Got into some drugs, different things like that. Went to Argentina when I was 17 just to get away from the scene and all the people that I was around. That's where I met Luke Belmar when he was like 15 years old. I was 17. And then was there for a while, went to Bible college, got out of all that drugs and everything. And then I ended up living in South America for like 7 years. And I worked in different nonprofits. So my background is actually in nonprofits, worked in a few different nonprofits in quite a few different positions, doing quite a few different things. I've even been in political nonprofits. And that was what I wanted to do ever since I like finished high school, is like, I wanted to help people. I wanted to be able to help people in whatever capacity it was. I don't know how it was going to be. I wanted to learn Spanish. That's why I went to South America. And so then when I went through that, I just hit a lot of frustrating walls of like, man, this nonprofit isn't run correctly. Like, it's so inefficient, blah, blah. And then I went to another one and did marketing for them. And I'm like, man, my job as marketing should be showing all the great stuff that we're doing. But instead of doing that, we're out trying to go find more donors and try and find more money and so that we can do more stuff, right? Like it's for a purpose. But I was like, that's not what I want to show. I want to show all the good stuff we're doing. That's what I want to advertise. So then that was frustrating. So then I went to another one and then it was just like kind of a rat race and I could see this one like mismanaged a lot of the funds and they were going to these weird, crazy dinners. And I was just like, look, you guys are spending money on this, but really you're telling your donors you're spending it all over here. So then I saw the mismanagement of it. And so through like a few different nonprofits, I was like, man, this is just not what I want to do. Like, this isn't the help that I want to be in the world or what I want to do. And so I decided, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go be a freelancer. Basically, this was during COVID when I decided it. And I'm just going to go be a freelancer. Before that, I tried to launch a social enterprise. If you're familiar with that, it's basically a business that they dedicate a certain amount of money towards charity, right? So I ran it was kind of like Uber, but for barbers.
Mm-hmm.
So people would order their barbers to their house. This was in Peru. People would order their barbers to their house on just an app, and then barbers would come, show up, clean up everything, and then they'd be out. And we were helping the Venezuelan refugees that were in Peru, basically. So that was my first business. Absolutely crashed and failed.
What a unique like business. That's so funny.
Right. And that was like the first thing too. And I was like, and it just absolutely crashed and failed. I fell into this kind of depression.
Why did it fail?
Well, I had no idea what I was doing.
Okay.
Like I came from a non-capitalist background, didn't have
Fair
any
enough,
formal
fair enough.
education.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I
a
had
whole different
no
world.
idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
Just trying to make
it's
it
a
work.
cool product. That's why I'm asking.
Well, my thing was just like, oh, let's help them. Like it was all just help. Like, let's help the Venezuelans. Let's do this. And I knew nothing about sales and marketing.
Yeah.
Like it was all just the positive side of it, and that doesn't always sell necessarily. So then I fell into this kind of like spiral of like, man, I just don't know what to do with my life. I know inside of myself, deep inside, that I'm like promising, like I have the ability to do something great. I just don't know how to get to it. Right. Like I know that I can do something better. Like I just know. And I fell into like this deep depression, went into like this crazy dark place with drugs again and stuff like that for like 6 months, a lot of partying, a lot of drugs. And then COVID hit and I decided, okay, I'm going to go back to Argentina. I was in Peru at the time. I'm going to go back to Argentina, go back and work at the previous nonprofit. I was comfortable there. I knew all the people. It wasn't exactly what I wanted for my life, but I knew that at least I could kind of get back on my feet and figure out what I wanted to do. When I got there, I was like, well, I'll just start freelancing to make some extra money. So then I can just focus on this full time without having to raise money somewhere or something like that to actually volunteer there. So I just started researching. And for some reason, the first thing that I stumbled on was SEO. I don't even know how it happened. I probably pulled up to some Neil Patel blog and was like, what is marketing? SEO is, and I was like, oh, okay, great. I will learn how to do SEO. So I learned how to do SEO literally all through COVID. In hindsight, and this is what I tell people all the time, like I took way too long to pull the trigger on things.
Yeah.
Like I built my own website. It took like 6 months to do it. I watched through videos, set up all my SOPs as if I had a team.
Do without going and trying to get a client.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I did that literally for like 6 months. Then eventually I was like, well, I have no experience either. So then I went out and got a job for this in this SEO agency as their SEO like manager, like having no experience in SEO, never done SEO for anyone. Finessed a job as the manager, worked for 6 months, and then pieced out. And I was like, thank you guys very much. I learned everything I need to do my own agency.
Yeah.
And then I went out, and I had a kind of a unique approach to it that I feel like a lot of people don't do. A lot of people go out and want to do the service right away. I knew 100% that I didn't want to work with clients.
Yeah.
Because part of my personality is I don't want a boss. I don't want anyone to have to tell me what to do. So I was like, okay, well, what if I find someone, instead of me becoming like a super crazy expert in SEO, what if I found someone that's really good at SEO and they're just like a freelancer and I just go find them clients? And I didn't see that from anywhere. It just came to me. I mean, I know it exists, like drop servicing. It's a huge thing. But at the time I was just like, I really just don't want to deal with clients or do the work. And I know that I can go sell people.
Yeah.
So I went on to Upwork, found some people that did SEO that were planning on being freelancers forever. And they're like, oh yeah, we charge $1,000 a month, do it all, whatever. And I would go out and find clients that pay me $2,000. And that was my start. Just started stacking up cash like that.
Arbitraging talent.
100%. Yeah. And I would use their case studies, everything. So I didn't have to ever work for free.
Makes sense.
But I also, up to this point, even to today, I've never done SEO for anyone.
Yeah.
Ever.
Makes sense.
So that's how I started. That's how I started off the process of my agency and just kind of started stacking cash with that. Enough to where I could kind of pay for a mastermind, meet some high level people, get into a community. And that's really where everything shot off for me. I did freelancing and like health optimization for like a year, just because I knew one of the things that I saw from higher level entrepreneurs, or even what a lot of my friends were telling me, or they're just like, oh, my health is horrible. Yeah, I've accomplished this, this, and this, but I can't touch my toes, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, I want to optimize my health first before I dive head into it. So my first year, that's what I did. I just kind of freelanced, kind of trying to find different partners, because I knew that I didn't want to do the operations side of the business. So I tried to find different partners. 2 of them failed in that first year. And then my second year, which was 2 years ago in January, I found my current partner, which is my sister. I got lucky there. She just had come back from Afghanistan. She's a Apache pilot, a captain in the military.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Apache pilot?
Yeah, dude, like the attack
That's
helicopters.
sick. Yeah, that's a serious.
And then she was just the perfect operator, right? Like she had everyone in order, perfect. Everything was going good. And we shot up to 7 figures the first year. So that was the point where it worked out really well. And
but you can't just shoot to 7 figures on operational excellence, right? So
right.
What are you doing to get these clients?
So we got all of our clients through Instagram DM ads.
Nice.
Ironically enough, we started by, I knew nothing, bro. I had no friends in the agency space because I had joined, the mastermind that I joined was Capital Club. So everyone was crypto, info product, drop shipping. Yeah, and that was it. Yeah. And I was like getting business advice on how to run teams and stuff, but no perception on agency anything. Yeah. So I was just kind of making things up. So I literally, my first ads for like the first six months were literally just boosted stories. And I thought to myself, I was like, okay, these are business owners. So they're not going to fall for like those VSL ads where people are doing selfie videos. These are DTC owners. They're not going to watch that. They see those all the time. But what would look native to them so that they wouldn't click out of the ad, but also at the same time, like it just shoots it straight to them immediately so that they get it.
Screenshots or what?
And we would literally just do Shopify screenshots. We'd edit them with the Instagram text and put our offer on top of the screenshot and just say like, hey, this was all from SEO. This is the ROI our client got. If you haven't tried doing this yet, you're giving all your money to Zuckerberg or whatever, and you haven't even spent $3,000 on this, send us a DM if you're interested. To this day, that's still how we get clients. We don't boost the stories anymore.
Yeah.
And the only reason I learned not to boost them is because I got this guy that worked for a high level coach, and he came into a sales call with me, and he was like, oh man, your ads are crazy. I love how basic it is, whatever. He's like, show me how it is in the business manager. And I was like, the business what? He's like, show me how. I was like, these are just boosted stories, bro. Yeah. And he's like, no way.
Stop.
And then he just booked right away. He's like, okay, we're booking an hour call right now. I'm going to show you how to use Business Manager and your leads are going to improve so much better.
So much more for sure.
And so he showed me, and to today I still kind of use the same strategy that he showed me. But that's how we do it all. It's super, super basic. Our top of the funnel is we just give away free stuff. So free PDFs, free webinars, free whatever. And we run those ads just to Facebook forms, right? And then we push them to our email list. But we don't really get anything off of that at all. It's just to curate our audience because we want people that want to download SEO stuff or our e-com owners. And then like in the middle, we call it the middle of the funnel, but technically it's still cold. We do lookalike audiences to that audience and lookalike audience to the people that we've had calls with or our email list. And then that's where we get all of our clients from, is from that middle of the funnel. And then the bottom of the funnel, which is technically middle of the funnel, is we just retarget all people that we have had calls with or that are on our email list.
So simple. I think too many people overcomplicate
so simple.
They just don't do it, right?
Yeah. And last year we spent over $300,000 on this exact strategy. We signed over 100.
You spend that much?
125 clients we signed from it.
Let's fucking go, bro.
Yeah.
That's fucking solid. So give me some high level SEO advice here. Like, it's just basic things that I think people could implement in their agency or in their e-com store, right? Like if I'm an e-com store, probably doing $50K a month. I don't have that much money, but I'd love to grow. Even if I'm bigger, I'm sure there's a lot of things these big guys are just absolutely neglecting. Like e-com store owners don't think about SEO.
Mm-hmm.
They like paid ads, email marketing, influencer traffic. That's like where their main focus is, right? So I feel like SEO is very much neglected. And we don't do SEO, but we'll do like conversion rate optimization audits. And even in like some of those factors are SEO related, like the metadata on the title on the page is so incorrect. Little things like that
Page
definitely
speed.
help with CRO and things like that. So give me some things that people could just fix, and maybe even tools that they could use. I think that could be pretty good takeaways for people in the e-com space. I mean, they should hire you if they really want to do well, but like, let's just say they can't afford to, or they're not in a position to right now. Like, what advice would you give them on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you should start focusing on SEO day one, on trying to optimize pages and going out and getting backlinks and creating content, etc. And I'll break SEO down into kind of 3 different pillars just so that we can see it in a simple nutshell. So day one, it's like the foundation of a business. Like, even if you go in to try and sell your e-com business, I tell people this all the time. Like, when a firm or someone sees that you have SEO revenue coming in consistently, it's basically like MRR. Like, it's guaranteed every single month. So your valuation goes up so much more the more revenue that you have from SEO.
Yeah, because you own the media.
You own it. You're there forever, right?
Yeah.
Like, nothing's going to happen. It's not like ads where you turn them off and you stop making money. Like, you turn SEO off and it's slowly going to go down after like 3 years, but you're going to make it for a while.
But on the other hand, it takes way longer to get there, right?
It does take way longer to get there, yeah. The biggest factors are longevity. So the more you've been on the internet, the more your domain's been on the internet, the better. It's called domain authority, is basically what Google gives you. It's like your grade or your score or
Credibility
whatever.
score.
Your credibility. It's your credit score for your website,
Yeah.
whatever. So the longer your website's on the internet, the more Google's going to trust you, right? Because if you throw your website up tomorrow, it's like, okay, well, anyone can do that. So if you're on for a year or 2 years, it's really easy to run SEO for those kinds of sites because they just shoot up immediately once you start doing the right things.
Makes sense.
The second one is basically your authority in the space, right? It's called domain authority because you get that score from how much people talk about you. It's the same as social media. If you're going to post something and someone with 100 followers shares it, Instagram's not going to bat an eye. But if you post something and frickin' The Rock shares it, then all of a sudden you're going to go viral, whether it's from his followers or not, just because he has the authority and the credibility, right? So it's the same thing on the internet. The more sites you have that are talking about that site, is the backlinks that are talking about that site, the better, including things on like Pinterest and Facebook. All of that counts towards your domain authority.
Makes sense.
So like breaking SEO down, the 3 most important things to do is like the first thing is all the on-site stuff. So that's the stuff that kind of you were referring to a little bit, like making sure the code is optimized, making sure images are optimized, that your page speed is running quickly, that you're going through and making sure you have your meta descriptions, your title tags, that you have your H1s, your H2s, and all of those have different keywords and things that you're trying to rank for, right? So if you have a beef jerky brand, like looking for keywords inside the beef jerky realm that you would want to kind of rank for or put on your website, and then making sure they make logical sense in a sentence, right? Like, you just don't want to throw up a bunch of keywords on there and then it has to make logical sentence and has to read out in a sentence. So that's kind of like the on-site stuff that you have to do, and that's like the first pillar that I do. That's the easiest stuff. You can finish that stuff in 20 hours or a couple weeks. Like, it's what we spread it out between 3 months because it's not the most important thing to spend our time on. It's kind of just the checklist where Google's like, okay, great, that's done. But I've seen sites that have terrible optimization and they make hundreds of thousands of dollars from Google, right? So it's still very possible.
And that's because of the phase 2, phase 3 stuff, the columns?
The second and the third pillar that I'm going to talk about. The second pillar, and for the first pillar, just go to something like, there's like free tools out there. Like, you can use SEMrush and pay for it, or you can go to like a free tool like Ubersuggest, which is Neil Patel's tool. You just run a site audit on there and it'll tell you all the issues your site has. And then it'll literally tell you, go in here and do this and fix this and change this and do that. So it's super easy to fix. You shouldn't pay anyone to ever do that.
Yeah.
People always tell me, they're like, oh yeah, we did SEO. Oh cool, what'd you do? We went to Fiverr and we paid this guy $8 an hour to come in and fix all our site. And I was like, great. So you're back at square one still, like you haven't done it.
You're actually at square one now. Yeah, you were at zero.
So then the second pillar is just content creation, right? And that's super straightforward. People try and get too complicated with it. It's really just trying to create good original content on your website.
That's relevant, right?
That's relevant.
Yeah.
Generally through a blog post, can also be landing pages. But Google really...
What about videos, like YouTube videos and stuff? Does that play towards the SEO of your website on Google or no?
So if you do that, you're going to have to put the manuscript below. So it still has to be text because Google's still OG and just reads the text.
Interesting.
So that can help. But I mean, the main idea is that you just want to show Google that your website's active. Like it's still moving. There's pages being added. You're indexing them, etc. And that it's actually good content, because if it's just ChatGPT stuff, people are going to come on and they're going to bounce off your site. They're going to read a sentence, be like, this was written by a robot. I'm out of here. It's just like,
I don't know, man. Some of that ChatGPT stuff gets really fucking good. I'll tell you that.
I mean, it's just like a reel. If someone watches the first 2 seconds of a reel and bounce, you're not going to go viral.
Yeah, no, I get
and
it.
TikTok's going to see it. Yeah.
Like, I mean, when I played that AI video on the conference, did you think it was AI?
I mean, I don't know if it was because the sound was off, but the lips were off. Yeah, so I was like, there's something off about this, but I didn't know it was.
Yeah. The sound was delayed with the speakers, so I was like, damn it. I hope that doesn't like blow my cover.
But anyways, got to be good original content, right? And just because you don't want people bouncing off your page. It just has to be quality. Sure, you can make it AI and still can be quality, but the issue that I have with AI is most people are using ChatGPT and Google has their own AI. So my theory is that once AI is actually like prevalent and more advanced, Google is going to maybe start banning people that aren't using their AI on Google. And they're going to start flagging people and be like, oh, that's ChatGPT. Red mark. See you later. So I always caution people against using ChatGPT as putting the text inside, because there's softwares out there that can track where and which AI it actually came from.
Yeah.
So that's my kind of warning for people, is just write it yourself. It doesn't take that long.
Yeah. Or hire someone to write it, right?
Or hire someone to write it.
Well, who knows? That guy's using AI.
He could also be using ChatGPT, you know. So the content, and then the last one, which is the most important one, is basically it's backlinks. It's the offsite. It's that authority. It's when other websites, another blog is mentioning yours. So it's those sites where you're like, hey, what are the top 10 sunscreens for 2024? You click on that blog and it has a list of 10 sunscreens and they all have links going to websites. Those are all backlinks, right? Or PR articles. All of those are some of those are no follow, but a lot of those are backlinks too, where you mentioned a site. It just has to be sites that also have high domain authority. Same thing that I was saying about like Instagram. Like if you're going to have someone give you a backlink, they have to have some authority too. You don't want to go after someone that has a 1, because they're not going to be helpful to you at all. So for sites, what I recommend people doing is just making connections with people in your industry and blogs in your industry, and just being like, hey, we'll send you over some product. You can check it out and just, put us in your blog.
Yeah.
Different things like that. And they don't even have to mention your company name. They can just be a blog about, this is what you can do to biohack. And then at the bottom, it's like, and here's some beef organ pills, whatever. You know what I mean? It doesn't even have to be even that relevant. It helps. It's not for the traffic aspect of it. It's pushing people to your site. It's all just so that Google sees that people are talking about you. That's all it is.
That's it. Yeah. So does it, I mean, the quantity of traffic has to matter, right? It's not just quality. It's got to be quantity too, right? So like the Forbes article is sending 10,000 people a month to my page versus 1,000. Does it hold more credibility? Well,
that's what I mean. You're not necessarily doing it for traffic. Yeah, you'll get more credibility for something like that, but you're putting them out there just so that Google sees that people are talking about you. I don't care if they have traffic or not. A bigger factor is how many backlinks is that website doing, right? So if you're going to a website and they have 1 million backlinks just pushing out to the whole web, then Google's going to see, they're just giving them out to everyone in the world.
They're just whoring it out.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. So if you're a backlink whore, then,
you know who you are.
You know who you are. We're talking to you. You're less valuable because you're a backlink whore. Love that. So what was that? What first one's foundation, second one's
on-site content, off-site, which is just the backlinks.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. And dude, it's cool because like you show me screenshots and I see some of these numbers and like, report for Q4, 600K from SEO came in this quarter, and it's pretty cool. I think my problem is, and this is the reason I never did SEO as a service, and probably never will, to be honest.
You probably shouldn't.
It's just it takes too much time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so people are already impatient as it is. They're paying a retainer, and then like they're sitting there and they're like, "Hey, it's been 3 months. I'm not a millionaire. Like it's been 6 months. Well, I'm not a billionaire." And like it just takes too much time. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so I know ads are like, I could turn them on next week and we could start generating sales. That's why I went into the ads and email side of things personally. But it's cool because I think SEO is like way better long term.
Yeah.
And ads are way better short term. But I don't know. It's just an interesting thing. Like, I don't even know how you deal with that from a patient standpoint. I guess the benefit is like they don't pay ad spend on top of the ads, on top of the retainer, right? Like you charge them like a 10K retainer, it's 10K.
Yeah, that's it.
We charge them a 10K retainer, then it's like another 30 grand in ads, and then
and then you creatives, and
yeah. So like cost kind of goes up, whereas like your 10K is 10K. Like they know that's what it is. The problem is it just takes how long does it take? Like 6 months, a year, 2 years?
Every site depends. Like especially if the domain's been on there for a while, like I said, we can shoot something off. If it's a very niche product, like for example, we signed a client in it would have been 3 months ago, whatever the month that is, 90 days ago, where they do like they do that adult coloring books that has like color by number or paint by number or whatever. And so they sold a ton of those types of books, and it just wasn't very competitive. They weren't very competitive keywords. So they came to us and we're like, bro, we can absolutely smash this. From zero revenue, making absolutely nothing from Google, we made them $500,000 in 90 days.
Wow.
But just because there was no one on those keywords.
Yeah.
But then we've also had clients where they have like a activewear brand, and we're just like, this probably isn't going to work. And like, we still want to do it.
Fucked.
We're like, no, we're not. It's going to be real hard.
Yeah.
So we try and find some kind of niche for them.
That makes sense. Okay.
And then 90 days, and they're like, man, it's just not working. We're like, yeah, we kind of knew that. So now with more experience, where we know which brands are like, sorry, we can't work with you anymore. But yeah, it is a harder sell. Like if you're an agency owner, I like going back 2 years, I would never do SEO, right? I would pick something else, 100%.
I mean, I would want to do it for my own business. I've even talked to you about that, right? Like,
yeah, for my own business. I mean, as a service though.
As a service, yeah. It's
but hard. As a e-com brand owner, if you're looking at SEO, like you should start at day one, either doing it yourself or finding someone that can do it for you cheaply. And then when should you start investing it? Probably when you're doing around $1 million a year already.
Yeah.
That's the kind of people that we're looking for that are doing at least $1 million a year.
Makes sense. Yeah. You're going to have the money to like have the runway of 6 to 12 months at least. And
yeah, so we can see results in 90 days depending, like we have a 90-day guarantee where we'll, depending on their targeted keywords, we'll increase their targeted keywords in 90 days.
Improve like positions on certain keywords or whatever it is.
Correct, yeah. Which in Google's eyes, and we literally had a client complaint 2 weeks ago that was like, we looked this up on Google and it says you can't rank in 6 to 12 months, and you guys did it in 90 days. This has to be fake. Like the
Stop.
And I screenshotted it and put it into our testimonials.
Yeah,
but it was a complaint and they canceled
Yeah.
because they're like, you guys are doing something fake because you guys got it too fast. But that's like our guarantee,
win, bro. It's like you do it for 6 months, it's too slow. You do it for 3, it's illegal. Like, Jeez, dude, give me a break, man. You can't run, bro. The agency world makes it hard, man.
Bro, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, any e-com brand should really do it because there's some good money in it. Like we've had clients that have been with us for like 2 years and they're doing like multiple 7 figures every single month just from organic, and they're paying us like $5K a month just to do it for them. Yeah. So the ROI is much bigger. So that's even like one of the approaches that we use for our ads. Like one of our top selling ads that's probably made us more than $1 million in revenue just says, you're spending all your money on Zuckerberg and you won't spend a few thousand on SEO and get a 45x return like this client. And that's like one of our best ads.
It makes sense.
And people are like, oh yeah, I am. I can't. And then you have to think about it too. You're like, okay, I'm just spending 3K or 5K on this, but it's going to
building something permanent.
And it's going to people that actually want to do good and not like Zuckerberg or a huge corporation or Google ads or whatever. Like you're not feeding the beast.
Yeah.
You're helping people.
The beast feeds me, to be fair, too.
Exactly.
You know, the beast does give back to me.
It does.
So cool. I love that, dude. Really insightful advice. Kind of gives some good foundational layering to like how to approach it. Mm-hmm. We coach a lot of agency owners, right? Some who are just starting, doing 5K, 10K a month. Some who are doing 6, 7, 800K a month, right? Yeah. So what do you think, like if there's one piece of advice you could give agency owners, like, hey, this is like the thing I think most of them like don't do well or don't do enough of, or the thing that they really need to take their business to the next level? Like one thing, like what do you think that would be?
I wouldn't be able to give one thing for everyone. For like the beginner category, I would just say like, do it, bro. Like I get people in the chat all the time. They're just like, hey, just build out my pricing structure. How do you think I should structure this? Does this offer look good? Should I make the price a little bit lower so that they pick the higher package instead of the little package? What CRM should I use? And it's just like, go sell, like just go sell and just do it. Like I wasted an entire year building my website, making sure I had the perfect logo, making sure I had SOPs for a team of 100 people when it was just me in my mom's basement. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just go out and do it and sell something. And you don't know until you know. You kind of have to fake it until you make it for a while, a little. So that was one of the big things for me, because I didn't have that agency community. Like, this community I built because I wish that I had it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just had to fake it and kind of figure out it along the way and waste money and just do it. And like, if you have a community like that and you're able to get the shortcuts, like, get the shortcuts. But at the same time, you also just have to kind of start doing it, and you won't actually know until you start doing it. And so many people are just like in that analysis paralysis of just like, oh, well, I just watched Andrew Huberman and he told me that I needed to sleep 8 hours a night. Yeah, but you haven't had 2 years of sleepless nights like me. You don't deserve 8 hours of sleep yet.
Yeah.
Like, go get to work. You know what I mean? So that's what I think definitely for the beginning range. And I mean, everyone says the same thing, I guess, for like the 100K a month guys. I mean, acquisition, I think, is a huge thing. It's just a huge shortcut of being able to go out, or mergers and just merging with other agencies, buying out your competitors. I think that's a huge shortcut, or using it to expand to different places or different services. That's something that we utilized last year to expand to Amazon. So I think that's something that's like a huge hack too, that not a lot of people are teaching and that you're not going to really find on a YouTube video. And then just hiring good people, right? Like, as long as you have good people, you can kind of just build anything. And I think a lot of people are not willing to not only invest financially, but also with their time into good people. And I think that's a huge mistake. They're just looking for the easy way, and they're just trying to find someone good immediately. And they're not willing to invest their time into that person and spend time. Like, I hired an intern. It was in October 2022. And I set him on this year program, right? And I was like, okay, you're going to be my intern for an entire year. I'm going to take you through absolutely every process that I do, right? Because I knew that this would build the type of person that would be a second me, basically, that could literally take my position. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to take you through everything. I'm going to take you through appointment setting. You're going to do that for 3 months. Then you're going to be a closer for 6 months. Then you're going to be this, and this.
Yeah.
And he's literally my acquisition director now after a year and like 4 months, because I invested hours and hours and hours into meeting every single day with him, making sure that he read every single book that I've read, making sure that he watches every piece of content, making sure that he is literally living my mission, breathing my vision, and is able to do the things as equally as good as I'm able to do them. And I feel like people are just going out and trying to hire those people or just pay for them and hoping that they're the same quality as them. And it doesn't always work that way. So that's one of the things that I recommend is, yes, investing and finding good people, but sometimes you actually just need to invest time into someone so that they can actually feel and live the same vision and mission that you have. And there's not really another way of doing that without kind of indoctrinating them over time.
Wow. That was a great answer, by the way. It's cool to see how many people, it's not cool. It sucks. It sucks to see how many people are in the agency world who just don't understand these basic things. And I think it's because sadly in the agency world, the people teaching how to run an agency or how to build an agency don't actually own an agency. Most of them haven't in the last since pre-COVID, to be honest, right? And it's a whole different world. And it's also interesting to see we just shot a podcast earlier. You were in the room, and those guys had to reset their entire life during COVID. Mm-hmm. You kind of started taking off after COVID as well. I was sitting in one of the Airbnbs that our team was staying at last night. It was 2 a.m. And we're all just grateful about it. We're it's crazy that companies literally died in COVID. COVID destroyed industries. And they're and we're just fucking climbing since.
Mm-hmm.
We just haven't stopped. It doesn't matter what the obstacle is. We're pushing, we're growing, we're making it happen wherever we can as best as we can. And so I don't know, just kind of a random thought. Like, it's cool. It's cool to see like people chose to make COVID something that they could benefit from, as opposed to something that could destroy them and their life and put them on a bad path. And sometimes it's just the difference of like making a decision of like turning a positive into a negative. Even like the story I was telling on stage, I don't know if you were in the room when I was talking about like the bad name and how it came about and shit like that. You know, that was like, that could have been a horrible scenario, turn into like something super good. So pretty cool to see that, man. And, you know, I'm really excited for what we have together building this agency domain. I think we're just getting started. It's cool. Every month we're adding new things to it. We're giving these guys the opportunity to network with each other, to ask questions that they want to ask. And to put, I just feel like no one's putting like all these agency owners in a group together to be able to build. And if there's anything I learned this last week from the agency founders event, it was like, community is so important. Like,
so important. Seeing
these guys just give to each other, collaborate and talk, and no one's siloing themselves out in the corner. I wish we could just create an environment like that powerful online.
Yeah.
And hopefully by the end of this year, you know, we can be in a situation where like it feels like that in the group. And I think we could really change the world through these agency owners. I think we forget the impact that we make, right? Like if we teach 5,000 agency owners how to do better, and those 5,000 people each have 10 clients, we're now impacting 50,000 businesses. Those 50,000 businesses probably have thousands of customers a year, right? Let's call it 2,000 each. We've now impacted 10 million people. Is that no more?
I don't do math.
100 million people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just through touching those 5,000 agencies. And that's being conservative. So I think it's cool how deep that goes and how much impact we're actually creating in doing so. And just really happy to be doing it with you, bro. It's been a pleasure, like being your business partner. You're super easy to deal with. Life comes up sometimes for both of us in meetings, and like I have so many different partnerships, and I appreciate that we both understand that, and like things come up and we're not like, screw you for not respecting my time. Like shit happens, you know what I mean? As long as we're not making it like a consistent thing, we're just skipping shit. But would love to tell everyone, like, aside from agency domain, all this stuff, like what's the best way to find you? What's the best way to work with you? If they're an e-com store, they want to get some SEO done. Obviously, if you're an agency owner listening to this, just literally go to a link in any of our bios anywhere on any platform, and you can get into the agency domain. But like for you personally, your business, yourself, your brand, like what's the best way to connect with you, follow you, ask you questions, hire you guys? Just kind of give us all that if you can.
Yeah, I'm at Hey Zach Schubert on pretty much any platform. Haven't started YouTube but I'm going to start a YouTube for agencies this year. That's one of my goals. Just to put out some good content of things that I'm practically doing in the moment. I actually even want to build an agency from zero, just in public, just to show people
Love
that it's possible and that they can do it, and it gives them step-by-step stuff. For the agency domain, yeah, just any link in any bio, or go to wap.com/agency domain. My website's Qera Marketing, so it's QERA marketing.com. And that's where they can check out the SEO stuff.
What does Qera Marketing stand for?
So Qera is actually a Hebrew word that means to proclaim or to pronounce.
Sick name. Then.
Yeah.
Good shit. Well, thanks so much, Zach. Appreciate you being on the call all the way, or on the podcast, all the way from Cali.
All the way from California.
West Coast to East Coast, baby. Longest flight possible in the States. Thanks for making it out. Appreciate it. Hopefully you guys got some value from this. Make sure to give Zach a follow. Definitely tap into his content, especially on his YouTube. There's a ton of videos. He does interviews with like some of the most successful people in the agency and the marketing space. There's just an infinite amount of value that you just binge. And once you're done binging that, jump into the agency domain and get some serious paid value from the interviews that we do that are exclusive to those platforms as well. So thanks a lot for being on the show, bro. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching another episode of the Bad Marketing Podcast. I hope you got immense value from it. And if you did, all we ask of you is that you share this with a friend that you think could find this very valuable. And depending on the platform that you're watching or listening to this on, please like, subscribe, or rate the podcast as best as possible. It really means a lot to us. We pour so much money, time, and effort into getting these guests here, filming all this, editing it, all for free, just to give you free value. And all we ask in return is that you just share this with people. You give it a positive review so that we can continue to reach more people and impact more lives with all this effort that we're putting in. With that being said, thanks so much for tuning into the episode, and I look forward to continue to provide you more valuable content moving forward on the Bad Marketing Podcast. Make sure you subscribe.